It's supposed to get really warm this weekend, almost 90, which is pretty hot here in Wisconsin. So right now it's in the low 50s, so I'm going to take advantage of today to get the area that we're going to set up the tiny timber frame in prepped. Don't have a lot of space here, so what I plan on doing is using some of this gravel that I brought down to put in the corners, and then I have some cement blocks that we'll set things up on. Now I do have a permit for this, and I can't do anything other than just some gravel and cement blocks, so there's no like poured footings or any concrete pad. If the building moves around, which I expect it will, I'll just have to jack up a corner of it and kind of reset the pad with gravel. So that's the plan for today. If you've been around timber framing for very long, you will have heard the term draw boring. Draw boring is using two holes through the mortise and then the tenon, and offsetting one of them so that when you drive a peg down through it, it pulls the joint nice and tight. So I've laid this out. We're gonna put a peg into this corner here. I am 4 inches from the end and 2.5 inches from this surface. So I'm going to drill this hole first, go all the way through, and then I'm going to put in the tenon, and we're going to mark it, take the tenon out, offset the hole a little bit towards the shoulder, drill that hole, and then when we put the peg through, it's going to pull things nice and tight. So in order to keep the drill running straight, I built this little jig, which is nothing more than a piece of plywood with a base at 90 degrees, and then a channel that is the same size as the drill bit. So when we go to drill, this is how it works. Just gonna put the peg or the spike right into the center of the X, stand it up and hold this like that, and that's gonna keep it vertical. So there's hole number one. Clean out the waste real quick, and we'll put this side in here. All we're going to do is going to get it nice and close this way, and I'm going to use the spur of the bit to mark the spot. So not drilling through yet. There's our hole. To remember which way to offset the hole, I like to think of it, you move the drill bit the direction that you want to pull. So in this case, we're going to move the drill bit about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 towards the shoulder, and drive a hole right through. When we put this back into the mortise, we'll see how the hole is closer to this, and now when we drive our peg in, it's going to pull this nice and tight. See how that pulled that nice and tight? And that's it. We're going to go around the rest of the frame and peg them. because some of these logs twisted over the winter, we had to stand it up and do some funny work to try and get the pieces put together. But fortunately, I brought in the muscle, so we got it done. Now we're just going to put the pegs in and then lay it down. That's a weak peg. Would have been nice to get that tighter, but this is a twisted board or twisted beam, so that's the best we can do. There it is. Okay. Yeah, leveling this is a challenge. I got the biggest boulders I could find, and I got a nice flat one down on the earth as good as I could. And then we're using these trapezoidal, I don't know what they're called, these blocks for the posts. What I did realize that would be kind of cool is if I need to adjust the height on this later, like if things move, I can just slide some wedges in these blocks because they have a groove that's supposed to accept a 2x4, so I could raise it and lower it little bits if I needed to. But I'm just going to take some gravel and some rock, smaller rock now, and kind of finish around these edges so that they look nice. But then that's going to be all for the foundation and for the floor. So onwards and upwards.